Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. I don't even know what day it is. The 22nd? I checked my watch, right? Yep, it's the 22nd. Welcome to the Tailored Expressions Live. I am Heather Nichols, and I'm so glad to see all of you today. I see you all chatting in the chat this morning, waiting for the live to start talking about your organization from the release this week, and also people talking about virtual stamp joy and making swap cards, because registration is closed for that, so now it's time to gear up and get ready for those of us that registered. You might notice I'm in a little bit different location again. It is very cold in Minnesota today, and my normal working location is not as warm, so I moved indoors, not only to do the live, but also to stay inside where it's warm to do some crafting this weekend. It's going to be a crazy winter storm all over the United States. And it is very cold now. I just checked before we went live. We're at a whole 3 degrees outside, and our wind chill's about -15, and it's going to keep dropping. So the next 2 days are going to be super cold. So the best thing to do is find your crafts, stay inside, stay warm, stay safe as well from all of the snow. So I hope you guys have all of that lined up. Good morning, everybody. Yes, it's going to be a deep freeze, and yeah, and if you, I'm laughing because you guys remember Hazel. She was very vocal on a live that I had this summer. She's in the window. Let's see, right there. This is actually the bedroom where we're staying. I'm out on the porch of the house at my mom's, and she is going, I guess, to be watching today. Maybe wants to get a little crafting in. So yeah, stay warm, everybody. And so this week at Tailored Expressions, again, it's all about organization and all sorts of new things for organizing. Some of you know my story. Right now I'm kind of in a transition. I'm staying at my mom's house. We're building our house, which has been delayed because of some of this crazy weather we've been having up in Minnesota. So we are not in the house yet, and it will be a little bit yet. But I had to bring my craft room in between, and I have many of the storage solutions that Tailored Expressions has had, and I can tell you that has definitely helped me keep organized with all of the moving that I have had to do. And once I get settled into my new space, I probably will take a look at what I need from there. I do know right now, whatever we're putting the foil in, definitely need that, and the 6x6 storage, definitely need that. So like I said, I know you guys are making your wish list. Yes, you guys, thanks you guys. It looks like she disappeared again. She's probably gonna go take her morning nap. Yeah, so all of that's on the Tailored Expressions website. If you caught Taylor's live on Tuesday, you saw kind of a recap, and we have kind of a product introduction that went up on YouTube as well, showing all of the things in the release. And then you saw Tuesday with Taylor, she went through all of that again, and she made the cutest interactive gift card holder with the chickens and the little seed packet envelope. It's like, I forget, it's not called seed packet envelope, but it's what came out when this kit with all the seeds came out. What did we call that? My brain can't think right now. So yes, you guys, good morning. So that's going on this week. And one thing that I want to tell you about is if you haven't stopped by the blog this week, make sure you do that, because it talks more about organization ideas using the Love to Label stickers. And you probably, as the new colors have come out, have seen those little label things they're about like this big, and they've got stickers on them to match our colors that you can use for your organizing. And we had the true color labels before, and those are going to be retired. They're retiring. But you can collect the Love to Label stickers to match all of the colors that you own in the T collection. So you can label your ink pads, like here, let me grab your ink pad stickers that go onto the end here. And these long, skinny label stickers, you get several of them, so you can label your ink pad, and I actually put them on both ends, so it doesn't matter how they're sitting on my shelf. And then you can use those other labels to label other things. Look on the blog, they've got lots of ideas. There are stickers to add to your bitty blender brushes, so you can dedicate your bitty blender brushes for specific colors now, which that is something I definitely need to do. I need to start labeling individually all of these things. So, and the other thing, and this has been probably my favorite thing, the little rectangle stickers, and people use them to label their shelves and their stamp pads and all of that sort of stuff. But I have the little color swatch card. Somebody gave these to us at Stamp Store, and I can't remember her name right now. But this has been one of the most awesome things, is all of these color swatches, and then I went through and labeled all of my swatches with those stickers so I know exactly what color cardstock I am looking at. And when I'm putting colors together for combinations, color combos, and different things like that, or trying to match up a color, because sometimes, and I'm going to talk about the greens at Tailored Expressions, we have so many greens, and some of them, they're different, but then you sometimes question what color it is, and now I've got them all labeled, so if I have any question at all, I will go and switch through that and see what color am I dealing with here. So I know that seems weird. I deal with the colors all the time, but it is a thing. And when you're looking at the different shades of pink, is this cupcake or pink champagne? And if you've got the colors just laying out there, sometimes it's hard to tell. Is this banana cream pie or is this potato chip? So the color swatch card has been awesome for that. And like I also said for color swatches, I'll actually take these off the ring and just flip the cards around to put colors together to create color combos. I believe more colors are coming out as far as I understand. Like I said, the true color labels, which have all of the colors, they're going to be retired. So the Love to labels are coming in to replace those. So check that out so that you can see all of the ideas that they posted on the blog about that. So what else should we talk about? There's not a lot going on. January tends to be a fairly quiet month. We're done with Virtual Stamp Joy registration, although we're getting ready for Virtual Stamp Joy. I'm excited to see all of you that will be there online with us, and I know we have a handful of people coming to the studio as well. And yeah, but next week is our first card making kit of the year. So you don't want to miss it. It's a beautiful kit. And I have sneak peek for you. So you'll want to, if you are on the Fans of Tailored Expressions Facebook page, you will see sneak peeks this Saturday. And then the reveal of everything will be on Tuesday. Taylor will be live showing all of the kit stuff. So here, and there's the kit, and there's always the add-ons as well. So I have 2 cards to show you. So this is kind of your eye candy for today. I know I've been doing eye candy a little bit. We're going to do sneak peek eye candy today. I'll do more eye candy of maybe some past cards I've made on future lives, but this is what I have for you today. Yes, sneak peek of this week's kit. So here's my first one. And the second one. Here we go. This is me not being able to follow the camera, so you get a bigger look at what I've got there. So those are my 2 cards, and of course, that's just a peek because you know the design team has come up with a beautiful sampling of cards created with this kit. There's so many ideas out there for this kit, and it's beautiful. It's just super elegant, but fun. I don't know. I really had a lot of fun with this kit, and I think you're going to have fun too. So yeah, somebody's talking about the cat. She disappeared again, but she might be back. But we're going to be crafting. So we talked about the organizing this week. We talked about the sneak peek next week. Yeah, you guys like that? You like that peek? I must have a delay because I'm talking and it's quite a while since I'm seeing your responses. So just keep that in mind if I'm not answering your questions right away. Yes, thank you guys. They are beautiful, beautiful cards. So I'm going to send those off to Taylor so hopefully she has them for the live on Tuesday. And then they'll be in the studio if you're local, so you can go see the samples in the studio. You're going to need the kit. You guys, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful kit. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to do today. So this week we had the organization things coming out, so we were trying to come up with some ideas for stuff, and Taylor did that cute little interactive gift card holder, and then the pizza set was brought up in some of our conversations we were having about products that we would love to see some fresh inspiration for. And we originally released I think it's called Pizza My Heart die set. It was for Valentine's Day, and I think it was last year. If it wasn't last year, it was the year before. So I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but it's a past set. You might already have this in your collection, but if you don't, here's some fresh inspiration. And if you do, here's some fresh inspiration of something else you can make. So let's flip down to my desk and get crafting. I gotta find my screen here. So there we are. When I looked at this pizza set, and I actually didn't create with the set because when we're assigned different things, we don't always get to create. So it was very fun to create with this. And I decided I wanted to make a shaker card. truth be told, I didn't want to glue all the little things down on the pizza because I thought that would be kind of tedious. But then I ended up gluing stuff down on the card anyway. So there's the heart-shaped pizza, and there is the regular round pizza, not regular, the round pizza. And then I made it so all the toppings are shakeable in the shaker card. So I'm going to show you how I made this. Here is a look at the die set. Got my stuff here. So like I said, you get all of the pieces to do the heart-shaped pizza. We've got the sauce, the cheese, the crust for both the heart-shaped and the round, and then all sorts of little toppings. We've got mushrooms and onions and olives and green peppers and pepperoni. It is so much fun. So we're going to have to talk about, you guys can share, like, what is your favorite pizza to eat? So I will tell you, I love a good veggie pizza. And I love a veggie pizza that has, like, not just the green peppers, onions, and mushrooms, because that's kind of a, you know, most places that's what it is. I like when there's other stuff on there too. There's a place that we go to that has a garden pizza, and it's got zucchini and tomato and all of that stuff on it. It's one of my favorite pizzas. So I am a veggie pizza girl. So along with the pizzas, there is a sentiment set, and I love this because it's so much like what you would see on a pizza box. So you can actually create a pizza box using, in fact, you can either cut, I don't know if we have these in the store or not, but these are like little card bases, like about this size. So if you stamp the pizza on there, it looks just like the pizza box. If you go on to our website, to the set, you will see lots of cute examples, and then put your pizza right into that little box. So that's one fun idea. And you got the cute little checkerboard and all of those cute little sentiments. And so we released this for Valentine's, but my gosh, you could use this pizza set all year round for your favorite pizza lovers in your life. It'd be super fun for a gift card, for giving them a pizza to a pizza place, or, you know, maybe you're doing invitations to a birthday party that is at a pizza place. There's so many fun ideas that you could do with this. So that's that set. So let's start creating. We're going to do a bunch of die cutting, as you can tell, with that. And then we're going to create a fun little tablecloth for the background on, well, not really the background, but the front part of the card with the set. Right, lots of you are talking about your pizzas. And we are very particular to pizza places too. There are local places in Minnesota that are our favorite places to go get pizza. My husband's favorite, if you ever have been in Bemidji, Minnesota, that's where he grew up, and his favorite pizza is Dave's Pizza in Bemidji. That is his favorite. My parents grew up in the Duluth area, and they love Sammy's Pizza. So if you're from the Duluth area, maybe, and actually there's a couple in Minnesota too, that was their favorite. And we eat at a place called Rafferty's Pizza that we really enjoy. That one's kind of in northern Minnesota as well. So yeah, I think our favorite places are kind of the little local places that we would go to, not necessarily the big box places. I mean, I love pizza all around, but I think our preference is always the kind of small family-owned pizza places, and they each have their own specialty. Somebody brought up Happy Joe's Pizza. I don't know what state that's in. Saxon Hall in Brownsville, Minnesota. They were on TV. Oh my gosh. I'll have to look that one up. I don't think we would ever be opposed to trying new pizza places. All right, so I'm cutting the crust, and I'm cutting for two, but I actually we really just need to make one of these pizzas, and maybe let's do the heart one for Valentine's Day. I'm going to do a second heart one. So I'm just going to do one of these, but you're going to do the same thing for the round pizza that I'm showing you for the heart pizza. So the crust is out of Toffee cardstock. For my sauce, I am cutting out of pumpkin cardstock, and this is actually going to be my pepperoni as well. So when you're looking at these, your sauce is the one that's a little bit bigger. That's what's going to peek out from behind. The cheese. And of course, if you don't want cheese on your pizza or sauce on your pizza, you can totally customize. And I'm cutting out the circle, even though I said I'm going to do the heart. Okay. Happy Joe's is in Iowa and Illinois. Maybe this is a place we have to try when I'm down visiting the studio. Indiana, and a couple people saying Pizza King in Indiana. Oh, there's somebody who knows what Sammy's is. Yes. We still go to Sammy's when we go up to Duluth. That was one of my dad's favorites. There's a town called Elk River that's not terribly far from here, and they have a Sammy's there. They used to have one in St. Cloud, but that one did not survive. Okay, the cheese here, I've got the banana cream pie, which is so funny. I'm cutting cheese out of banana cream pie. Mother Bear's Pizza in Bloomington, Illinois. Lots of fun pizza places. So when I was growing up, especially, this is funny, but we would go get pizza, and it was especially during Lent that we did this, and we would go get shrimp pizza, which actually I still love, from down in the cities area. I don't know if they're any more than just in the cities area or not, but we would go get that pizza from Broadway Pizza, but I think it was, because that one was it's probably one of the closer ones to Sammy's Pizza when we were growing up, and that's where we would go eat pizza. Okay, out of the pumpkin, I'm also going to cut out some pepperoni, because that is also a very good pepperoni color. Maybe you need a notebook. Which colors are the best food colors? I mean, there's going to be different opinions, I'm sure, but for me, pumpkin makes a great pizza sauce, but it also makes a great pepperoni as well. So I'm just going to cut out a few of these because I have a bunch cut out already, which I'll show you in just a little bit. And then, let's see, so we're cutting out toppings now. So out of the sugar cube cardstock, we're going to cut out the onions. And I know some people who did the pizzas, they add a little bit of purple to have that kind of purple on the onions. I just left my white. We're not too fancy up here in Minnesota. We like just a plain onion. I mean, we like other onions, but you know what I mean. So there is my little onions. These look like little macaronis too, I think. I'm going to grab my little thing. So there we go. I've got a whole bunch. And if you're going to make pizzas, I would say this is the way to do it. Cut out just a whole mess of toppings. Just a whole bunch of them. And just make a bowl and just keep going until you have so many that it's, when you start actually making the cards, you have more than enough. Okay, so this is poppy seed, and we're going to cut our black olives out of that. I like black olives. That's my favorite. My husband and daughter love green olives, so a lot of times they'll get pepperoni and green olive pizza, and I do not eat that because I do not care for green olives. I will eat pepperoni. There's my little olives. I'm using my little craft pick to get those off of my... It's about time to replace my plates on my machine, but I think we've talked about this before. I let them go as long as I can. I keep seeing Happy Joe's, you guys. We're going to have to do this next time we go down to Iowa. Of course, if you were down in Ankeny when it was still open, it was very fun, and they still have this in Des Moines. But Fong's Pizza with the crab rangoon pizza, that's a good pizza. It's very different, very interesting, but it is good. Okay, so we're cutting out green peppers. This is green tea cardstock. There are a lot of greens you could cut these green peppers from. Green tea is just a personal favorite color green of mine, and so that, of course, is what I went for. And then the final topping we're going to cut out to add to our pile of toppings. I see people agreeing with me. Black olives, yes. Green, no. Then we got mushrooms. I am a mushroom fan. I like them on my pizza. I like them on their own too. I wasn't so big on them when I was little, but as I got older, I think I kind of more developed a taste for them. My husband does not like them, so he gives me his mushrooms, the little mushrooms, and they're cut out of mushroom cardstock because that is perfect for mushrooms. Okay, so there is our plethora of toppings. We got to do some stamping. We're going to come back to the die cut machine in a little bit because we've got to do a little cutting for our shaker. But let's get our pizza crusts ready. Evidently I'm making 2 cards. I said I was just making 1, but I'm doing 2. I'm not going to do any blending on the sauces because such a small amount shows once you layer these up here. But I wanted to add just a little dimension to the cheese and to the crust. You don't have to do this, but this is just one of those things that does a little extra. But if you see here, any blending you're going to do on that piece, it's really going to get lost. So I'm not going to blend anything on the sauces. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. And we are going to grab basically the same color cardstock or ink to match the cardstock. Let's start with the banana cream pie first because it's the lighter color. I'm just going to add blending around the edges of these pieces of cheese. Just a touch. Just so it looks like it's cooked a little. There's that. MOD, mod pizza, what is that? People are getting hungry for pizza. All right, so I'm going around this little heart one. And like I said, just enough to add a little bit of dimension to make it look like it is maybe cooked a little. Right, so there's the banana cream pie. I'm gonna grab my paper towels. Ooh, sourdough pizza dough. That sounds good. Right, so here's our pizza crust. Now you're not going to see a whole lot of the pizza crust because it is going to be in there, but I still just wanted to add just a touch of dimension to that. So I'm just going around the edge with toffee. Oh, Mod Pizza is a chain. There are a lot of pizza chains. There's a lot of choices of those types of places up here, which, I mean, I love. We do get pizza from those places, but I think our favorites are still kind of the small places. If you go up to Grand Marais, Minnesota, which is one of the places, I just love it up there. There is Sven and Ole's Pizza. That is a place we have gone forever. So it's definitely a must-do when we go up there. Okay, there is our crust. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere these pieces together. So we have our 2 pieces. Now I'm just using my tape runner, so we're going to add the sauce first. And the cheese. How fun is this? You're going to make a whole bunch of these little pizzas all lined up. Something I like about mass production anyway, is having all those pieces lined up. It feels super productive, but man, if you're making little pizzas, how cute. So here is our Well, right now they're just plain cheese pizzas. So I'm going to set those aside. And we're going to add toppings in a little bit, but let's get our background. Actually, I only have one of these cut for one of the cards. So I'm just going to do the heart card, and we're going to stamp the background for that. Grab my little mini MISTI. And this is cut down with one of the A2 layer stacklets. I believe it is the third down. This tends to be my favorite one to cut with. This gives you that 1/4 inch around the edges of the card. So it definitely is a size I grab for very often. So I cut down the cherry pop cardstock, and then also I have a panel of Toffee cardstock, because this is going to be what we're going to use to create our shaker compartment. This is the bottom and this is the top. So, but we want the little cute checkerboard on the piece of cherry pop cardstock, which I am going to stamp with the Gingham check background. I'm just going to set that in my MISTI first. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive right into the middle. I'm going to line this up on my stamp. Close the back of my MISTI, and that is going to pick my cardstock up and hear it in just the spot where I want. Stamp my, whoop, I am so sorry about that. I'm on a tripod and I'm set up just a little bit differently than I would normally be. Hold on one second. All right, inking this up with mulled wine ink. I could have done a sugar cube cardstock and stamped it with cherry pop on there, but I love the look of mulled wine on cherry pop. Go in for another layer of ink. I think this pad needs to be re-inked. Good heel presses on there. I'm going to do, that's not terrible. I think we're good. Okay, so I've got my tablecloth, I'm going to call that, my tablecloth background. Front part of my shaker, I've got my pizzas, and then of course I have all of my toppings. So I'm going to do a little splattering here first before I cut out and start creating that shaker compartment. So I love to splatter. You guys are not going to be surprised. I am using chocolate truffle liquid watercolor, and that is on that little mini glass mat. And there's definitely plenty on there for me to pick up. So I'm picking it up on a water brush, and I'm tapping that brush over my finger to add splatters to my little checkered background and to my pizzas. Going to wipe this off on a paper towel, and then we're going to splatter a little bit with white. Which is the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Pick that up with my brush to work it a little bit in the lid. You can do this onto some sort of palette as well. And again, I'm going to tap that over my finger to add splatters to that pizza and that as well. Now I did, when I cut out all of these little toppings before, I did splatter, but they are so tiny you can see a little bit, but it's very hard to see the splatter on these pieces. So it's up to you if you want to do that or not. I did it just because I like to splatter, but I think with pieces that little it's not that big of a deal. Alright, I'm trying to get my brush rinsed out here. When I do the white ink, I want to get it cleaned out so it doesn't mess up my brush. I'll be rinsing that on the sink here a little bit. Alright, let me set these aside, and I'm going to wipe my desk up, and then we're going to cut our frame opening for our shaker. Get everything out of the way. Okay, let me grab my die cut machine again. Everything is always splattered. Okay, so there's our background. The splatters dry pretty quickly, but just because I'm running it through the die cut machine, I'm just going to press a paper towel on it just to make sure we're good. So basically we're cutting that opening into that background to create that opening for the shaker compartment on the card. So I'm just going to take my die. So this was not even a set that was designed to be a shaker, but a lot of sets and a lot of dies that you have, you can usually come up with some way to make it into a shaker. And in this case, basically I'm putting the opening into a solid piece of cardstock, because then I'll just add my tape around, the sticky foam tape around that opening to create the shaker. So take a look at things that you have and how could you make that into a shaker. There are maybe some things that you're not going to be able to do that with, but there are a lot of things out there that can become a shaker card. All right, so we're going to line this up here. I'm just going to make sure it's centered in the middle of my card. I'm kind of looking at the checkers and eyeballing, and I could get my ruler out and all of that. Make sure that I have plenty of space there, and I think I do for that. Maybe I'll scooch it up just slightly, because I know I have a sentiment going down here. And granted, you can do a die cut, but I stamped mine directly on the background, so I want to make sure I have room for that. So I'm going to tape this in place with some of the removable tape. I'm going to cut that frame out of that opening, and then we're going to stamp the sentiment on it. So got a leftover heart for something else. Cute little gingham heart. So there is our frame for our shaker. And I believe I am done cutting with my die cut machine. Back to my mini MISTI. All right, I had my magnet. Here it is. All right, so the sentiment I'm going to use is, you have a piece of my heart, which is right here. I'm not just going to go in blind here and stamp willy-nilly. I'm going to use one of the Clair alignment panels. I just have one of these with me right now, but when you order the Clair alignment pack, there's like 4 of them in there, I want to say. 4 different sizes to use in the different size MISTIs, and also there's one that does not have a grid on it if you don't want that on there. So I'm just going to literally set that right on top of my card, and I'm going to center this as best I can underneath here where I think it's going to go. I'll pick up my stamp, and I'm going to look at my stamp too, because I can do a little straightening before I even go onto there. So I can see this one here. I'm lining it up with this line on my MISTI, so I know it's straight. We're going to go there. Nocturne VersaFine Clair. Give it a test before we go for it on the actual card to see where it's stamping. That feels pretty darn good. So if I'm happy with that, if I was not happy with that, I would erase this, we'd redo stuff and stamp again to see if we could get it right. But if I'm happy with that, I can just remove that. I'm gonna ink that up and stamp that right onto the card, and it is where we wanted it to be. So that's how you can use that Clair alignment panel to get that sentiment exactly where you want it to go. Yes, the cart that I cut out, I should have said that, is the crust piece for the heart pizza. And then for the circle card, I used that crust piece for the round circle. Thank you. Okay, so I need my heart pizza. I've got my base, which is cut out the same size as this panel right here. So we need to get this pizza adhered to this panel. So I'm going to lay down these pieces together because we want this to exactly show through the window. And I'm going to grab my adhesive to glue my pizza down. Just setting it right into the window. So it's exactly on this piece of Toffee cardstock on the bottom. This is the bottom of the shaker compartment. All right, so now if I leave this open, we're gonna have shaker pizza pieces everywhere. So we want to close up this opening with a piece of window acetate. So I have this cut. It's very hard to see this because it's clear. And we're gonna tape that to the back of here. So I have it cut so it's going to cover that whole window. So I'll grab my tape runner. We're going to add our piece of window acetate right over the top. So you're going to want that acetate to cover that window but not stick out from the edges of your panel. So there we've got that all enclosed in. Now we're going to do the foam sticky strips. Hold on. Maybe I didn't grab those. So I am going to say I have black foam sticky strips. We don't have black foam sticky strips in the store anymore. The ones we have are white. And I thought I had those, but I do not. So pretend these are not black. Pretend these are the ones in the store. But they work exactly the same way as the other sticky strips. So we're going to create our little kind of well to put our stuff in. And I'm going to actually put it around here, because then it's not going to show. And the sticky strips are flexible enough that you can form them around shaped openings. So a circle, a heart, it's going to work. Grab a scissors so I can trim this little piece here. So this is going to enclose around that pizza so that those little shaker bits stay where I want them to stay. Grab another sticky strip. And we're going to get this side of the heart. And the sticky strips are, like, when they stick after a little bit, they stick really good, but as you're sticking them down, they have some grace. They give you a minute if you need to adjust or move anything. Some sticky things are like you are committing immediately. These are not like that. So you want to make sure you have, wherever these shaker bits are, you don't want any openings for them to escape. So you have to have everything kind of closed up. All right, the other thing we have to do is we have to support the rest of this cardstock, because if I just put this on like this bottom is going to bend down because there's nothing to support it, and so it's just going to kind of fall to the, the bottom of the card. So we're going to add a few more sticky strips. You want to keep that same height, so you're going to want to use those same strips to kind of frame up that card. I've got some smaller strips that are going to work just fine. I'll maybe do one across the top. other one I'm going to add is I'm just going to add one kind of right in there. I think that's going to be plenty for what we need. Okay. So now it's time to put our toppings kind of in the pizza where we want them to go. And I wonder if my chat has frozen because I haven't seen it update. Either that or you guys are watching really, really closely, focusing on what I'm doing. I'm just going to set the pieces in here so that I have an idea of how much I have. I don't want to have too much because I want everything to shake around. I want to have kind of a good variety of toppings in here as well. So I've got some pepperonis, I've got some mushrooms. Get some green peppers in there. As far as I could tell, because I did look in the store, TE doesn't have the black strips in stock anymore. They have the white ones, which work just exactly the same as I was showing you. So unfortunately, I thought I had grabbed my white ones to use for today, but I did not. Okay, black olives. It's okay. I see the chat coming. I was just worried that we froze because I didn't see anybody chatting for a while. There was a big discussion about sourdough pizza crust happening there. All right, lots of little black olives. And some onions. I'm not a huge onion fan, but if they're there, if it's an obtrusive onion, like if it's big, I might pick it off. All right, a few more. And I'm trying to make sure too that my little die cut pieces are kind of facing the right side up as well. Can you guys hear that wind? Or are you just saying if it's windy there? It is very windy. The wind is very loud. And the way that it's kind of, my mom's front porch here, it faces the lake. So we've got it coming across the lake and it's kind of facing, we face kind of northwest. And so that is where the wind is coming from. Okay. So there I've got my shaker bits, my pizza toppings. I've got my little top piece. I've got all my little foam sticky strips ready. So we're going to set this down on top here. I will say too that sometimes they can static a little bit. So my goal is just to get everything lined up straight. I don't have too much static, which is actually surprising since it's so dry. So I've set everything down right on top and adhered everything together. And there we go. Got a little shaky card pizza. Because it's all enclosed in there. You guys can hear that wind. Yeah, it every so often it just roars. Okay, so we got to add this to a card base. So I've got a top folding Toffee card base here. Yeah, that wind's been roaring. It started last night. It's been roaring a lot this winter. That big cold coming down from Canada. Okay, we're going to attach this to here, but I'm not going to glue back here since I've got a lot of dimension here. So I'm going to add my adhesive to the card base. Just making sure I keep in like that 1/4 inch from the side. Being very generous with my adhesive. We are forecasted where I am, so I'm about hour and a half northwest of the Twin Cities. And we are forecasted to be about, they're saying close to 50 below wind chill tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Our high tomorrow is -11. So there my shaker compartment is attached to my card base, and that card is done. So now I have 3 shaky cards. They're like kind of piling up there. I gotta give it a good tap so they break apart. There we go. Oh, we have to glue the extra toppings on. Once I got done with this, I thought, how cute would it be to add a few more toppings kind of scattered down the card. So let's do that. So let's grab our toppings, and I'm just going to kind of pick and choose a few to scatter down the card. I love the little green peppers. They're probably my favorite little topping. I love the little shape of them. A few onions. Let me grab some black olives. I don't remember if I said the black olives are cut out of poppy seed cardstock. I keep wanting a mushroom here, but I feel like it's a little tight. Maybe not. Maybe this. This is what takes so long. Decided I want to do this, and then I gotta putz around with how I want these little pieces to look. Either little rhinestones or little, you know what I mean. I want the green pepper over there, and I want this over here. Maybe one more olive. And once I get these set in place, let's glue them down with a liquid adhesive, which I have. My favorite is multimedia matte. I know there's lots of liquid adhesives out there. Oh, somebody brought up the exploding trees. Okay, they're not just gonna explode, you guys. You know that, right? But they can crack, because if the sap freezes super fast, it can expand and they definitely crack stuff, but they're not just gonna explode. I have lived through many a winter up here. I don't remember any reports of exploding trees. So I don't know where that even came from. But if one does explode, I'll let you know. I really don't think that's going to happen, though. We have lived through temps this chilly before. In fact, I went to school in Bemidji, Minnesota, which is northern Minnesota. It's the first city on the Mississippi if you wanted to check it out. But it would get so cold up there, and our college actually was all interconnected with the tunnel system, so we wouldn't have to walk outside at all to get to our classes. So you really didn't cancel classes that often up there, because they have it arranged, because that's just what it's like. And everybody's in class in their snow pants and boots when it's that cold. They park on the frozen lake. It's just a whole thing up there. Yeah, somebody else, Donna. She lived in Minnesota all her life, never saw it. Like I said, they can crack, but they're not going to explode. All right, got my few little toppings here. Where's my little lid? There it is. All right, there we go. Now we've got this card done with all the little shakers and all the little bits on the outside. All right, I'm going to flip you guys up to the top, come back. Thank you guys so much for joining me to create pizza shaker cards today. I hope you were inspired to do a little pizza creating of your own. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay warm. It's going to be so cold. And then make sure you watch out on the Fans of Taylor Expressions Facebook page for the kit reveal usually this Saturday, and then next Tuesday with Taylor Live. So thanks again for joining me, and everybody stay warm, stay safe, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.